You're an Indian? Do you speak English? Oh, you teach English. Hello people of the internet, I'm Arpana Saladi. I work as an ESL teacher in Thailand. I'm from India. I work in an international school where I teach English for middle high school students. My dream is to build a community for all the ESL teachers who are working around the globe. But why did I come up with this plan? Let me explain. Being an English teacher from a non-English speaking country is a challenge in itself. A big shout out to all the ESL teachers out there, like in Europe, Asia, and Africa. You guys are doing a great job. You might have worked in your country as an English teacher for about 10 years, but the moment you apply for an international position as an ESL teacher, people start asking you, you're an Indian? Do you speak English? Oh, you teach English. So that's a bit of a challenge in itself. Of course, I understand why international schools give first preference to native speakers and not ESL teachers, because of course they are native English speakers and they are keepers of the language. But we as ESL teachers, we are trained to think in English. So we are somebody gone through the process the child or the student is currently going through, which is trying to think in English without translating it into his own native tongue or dialect. For native English speakers, it might be a little difficult to point out exactly where the student is pronouncing few words in certain ways and go to the root of it and find out the reason. But as ESL teachers, because our ears are already tuned to certain dialects and certain sounds, me and my colleagues, we are able to differentiate and help the student navigate to find the error in his pronunciation. Let me give you an example. In Thailand, because I'm teaching here, these kids cannot pronounce ch, the CH sound. Instead, they say sh. In the place of ch, they say sh. So for example, if it's chicken, they say chicken. If it is check, they say check. This was very easy for me to identify as an ESL teacher because my ears are already tuned to the Indian sounds, Indian languages, and that is how I was able to point out and correct their pronunciation because of my familiarity with other dialects. Being an Indian and teaching English sounds a little bit cringy to few ears. So if you would just go on to Google and type Asian countries which speak English the most, you would end up with names like Singapore, Malaysia, and maybe the Philippines, but you will not find India in that list. I'm glad that the trend is changing right now because most of my friends, they are being offered English, ESL teaching jobs in different schools around Asia and Europe. But coming back to Indians speaking English and now teaching English, I accept that the older generation had a very heavy, thick accent influence on the way they spoke English. For example, my father, my mother, their generation, yes, the way they speak English is quite different and the way they pronounce few words are really different. But there is a generation which has been a culmination of culture and colonization where we have been taught to think in English, and now probably my kids would have their mother tongue as English. So the point that I'm trying to make in this first video of mine is just a message of hope to all of you out there who are aspiring to be ESL teachers, but you belong to a non-English speaking country and you are not a native English speaker. That's totally fine, because language is something that we can learn and language is something that can be spoken fluently with practice. And according to me, being an ESL teacher is not just about teaching grammar and vocabulary. It's more than that. It's about fostering connections, bridging cultures, empowering individuals who are our students to face the global landscape with confidence and proficiency in English language. An ESL teacher is not just a teacher in a way, because we have a blank canvas and we are painting stories of different students from different cultures, different countries with different dialects, but we are teaching them the same language. Each student brings a unique story, a distinctive perspective, and a different set of challenges. Our task as ESL teachers is not just to impart knowledge, but to create an inclusive environment where every voice is being heard. And in our classrooms, it's not just about perfection, speak the perfect English. It's about progress. ESL teachers around the globe are empowering individuals to communicate effectively, express themselves authentically, and participate fully in a globalized world. It's about breaking down walls and building bridges between cultures and diversity, bridges that connect people across continents, cultures, and languages. So, if you are somebody who is aspiring to be an ESL teacher from a non-English speaking country, do not give up. I am an Indian from a non-English speaking country, but I work as an ESL teacher, and it is an awesome job. I love my students, I love teaching, and I love everything that I do. Hope this story of mine has given some encouragement to you. I will see you all in another video. Until then, take care. Bye-bye.